Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Good Boxing Podcast. Let's get into it. Javier Fortuna versus Jojo Diaz took place last night in a very, very entertaining DAZN card. I had prognosticated that Javier Fortuna was going to be too big, too slick, and potentially could stop Jojo Diaz, the smaller man moving up. And I'm the first one to tell you when I'm wrong, I got proven wrong. And I gotta say, I didn't expect Jojo Diaz to outbox Javier Fortuna as soundly as he did. I don't know if it's the southpaw practice or he's just got his head straight, his head on straight. I know he struggled with mental health issues, weight issues, and when the guy puts his focus and just gets his shit together, the guy can box. Fighting five southpaws in a row probably helped out. I'm not gonna lie to you. Fortuna was out for a while. He was due to fight a bunch of different people, and the fights keep falling through. Um, Jorge Linares fell through, Ryan Garcia fell through, and a bunch of other people fell through. So he's been preparing for so many different styles, and then just to get a curveball and a southpaw that's tricky, who's used to fighting southpaws, Jojo Diaz seized the moment. Javier Fortuna, not gonna lie to you, I was a little annoyed with. I'm not gonna sit here and say that. Of course, I'm aware that Jojo Diaz definitely set the tone, set the pace, and maybe he made Javier Fortuna not throw as much, knowing that Jojo was coming out to really, really hit him to the body, get him hurt, and stop him. But Javier Fortuna looked a little flat. His timing looked off, and when he worked, he was having success. He owned the inside at certain points. Jojo was trying to come forward. Jojo was landing this beautiful overhand left, which I think Javier Fortuna wasn't really familiar with the righty. The lefty lefty matchup, and both guys looked unfamiliar at certain times. But Jojo was definitely the more comfortable counterpuncher in this fight. His timing was sharp. He looked physically strong, and look, hats off to Jojo. I had the fight 115, 113 for Jojo Diaz. I don't think 117, 110, or 111, whatever score they had it at, was accurate. The fight was a lot closer. Chris Mannix and his scorecards, I just kind of don't even listen anymore to anybody really when you're speaking. I just like to shut off the volume, watch the fight, unless like there's some sort of stop in action or like a fight gets stopped for a random reason. I'll turn on kind of the volume, listen. Oh, what happened? Was it a headbutt? Was it a punch? Stuff like that. But in terms of influence, I just watched what I was watching, and I felt like JoJo did his thing. You can't be mad at the sharp counterpunching, the really, really, really rough and tough style. He was making it scrappy, and he didn't let Fortuna rest. Fortuna was trying to be relaxed and cute and box on the outside and wait. And JoJo was like, no, let's fight, make you work. And he outworked him. And that's pretty much all I could say. Jojo Diaz at this point now is the number one contender for the WBC, if I'm not mistaken. He's an interim titleist, which means that Ryan Garcia, or actually, Ryan Garcia vacated when he took and dropped out the fight. That means Devin Haney can potentially fight him. That means Teofimo, if he wants, can fight him. And what a come up from someone who just came from 126, was struggling to make weight, bad boy, kind of, unprofessional, doesn't really come in the best shape, always struggling to make weight. For him to move up to 135 against a full fledged 135er who is being labeled as someone that's like a boogeyman of the division that people just constantly want to avoid because they could potentially look bad against. Kudos to you, Jojo. I mean, I'm gonna sit here and say I don't think you can fuck with Devin Haney. I don't think you can mess with Tio, but I want to see it. Who knows? Jojo may just be one of those guys you put him in with a killer and he just raises his game every time. Very, very high ring IQ. Not the most athletic person, but I would love to see him and Haney. That I think that's the fight that needs to happen. It's a good benchmark for JoJo to see where he stands in terms of the elite at 135, and also for Devin Haney to get a big name on his resume that's not Jorge Linares. Like Jorge Linares wasn't the same Jorge Linares that fought Luke Campbell or Lomachenko, but you saw him dominate Jorge Linares, who's kind of past his prime. Let's be honest. So perfect fight. Both guys are familiar with the zone. Maybe you fight Ryan Garcia. I don't know if Ryan wants that fight right away, but it would prepare him for someone like Tank or another lefty. You got to fight lefties in order to fight lefties because that matchup is a nightmare always. Now, moving on. Javier Fortuna versus Jojo Diaz was kind of the second main event for Zurdo Ramirez versus Sullivan Barrera. And I had never really watched Zurdo Ramirez fight. I just kind of was like, all right, I'm never up that late. Also, I always catch the fights later on, and whatever interests me, I just kind of watch. I'm a fan. What a performance. I mean, Sullivan Barrera hits hard. You could tell he's a very, very consummate professional. He's been in there with a lot of good guys, Andre Ward, the list goes on and on. And he just really had no answer. He never was really in the fight. Zurdo Ramirez is a tall, light heavyweight and just has tremendous power. He dropped them several times and then they ended up calling off the fight after the fourth knockdown. So I really like what I see from Zurdo Ramirez. Light heavy, it's kind of shallow in terms of the competition, but I would love to see Zurdo versus Bivol, see Zurdo versus Better Biev. There are guys out there that can make the fights fun. Like Zurdo Ramirez clearly hasn't been tested, and for me, Barrera was a good benchmark for that to show like, hey, I handle guys that are kind of on the cusp. Let me try my luck against the better guys. So that's the episode for today. Let me know what you think of Jojo Diaz's performance. I'm a believer. I got to shut my ass up because I picked Javier Fortuna. But as is life, right? You make predictions. I don't want to be one of these guys that doesn't make a prediction or be like, oh, it's going to be a close fight. I don't know who's going to win. Both guys have a good chance. Whatever. I picked Javier Fortuna. He lost. Now, maybe we get JoJo versus Haney. I don't see JoJo being able to handle the top at 135, but I thought Fortuna was a top at 135, and you saw how he handled him soundly. Zurdo Ramirez, maybe he's a future star, but let's see how he does against the other guys. And we already know Dazn and Top Rank. I don't know if they're going to work together, but I hope we get the fights we want to see. Be well and have a good day.